Hey tubers, today we're going to be installing this, it's a Colorado, made by Colorado, it's an outdoor roller shade. Basically I got a patio section in the back of my house and it's got the grill and the whole 9 yards there. So the problem is we got neighbors, like they hit these houses like super close. So we got some neighbors that have dogs, and every time I go out there, the dogs go wild barking. So what I want to do is try to hide a little bit and give me some barrier between us. So when I'm out there, they won't be so inquisitive. So today we're going to give this a whirl. It's 120 inches long by, I believe, 96 inches, or 126 inches wide by 96 inches long. So this is the biggest one that Home Depot actually carried. And it's supposed to block out 95% of UV light, so that will help too if it's super sunny out. So we're going to give this a whirl. First time ever doing something this big. Instructions say easy to install, 20 minutes. So I seriously doubt that's going to be the case, because I imagine I'm going to have to screw into cement where I'm putting into this. These houses are all center block construction, so probably have to do some cement drilling, and that never takes a super quick time. That's usually more lengthier. So real quickly, I'll spin the camera around here and show you. It is basically pretty dang long. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is start cutting this thing open, pulling out the parts, and then figuring out how I'm going to attack this thing. Obviously hooking up the brackets and stuff first, making some measurements. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the shade is actually out of the package now. It wasn't too hot to get out, just had to open the garage door back up and scoot the thing out because the package is so big. But you got the shade, you have your little, these are basically tie downs, you got some wall anchors and screws. They came in this bag here. And then you got your two brackets, which they call in this one the clutch bracket, because this one here has got the spring-loaded mechanism in here to pull, just kind of like a regular shade. This is just your regular idler bracket, which will get hooked up on the other side, and your screws and wall mounts. This here is your little rod, I guess to grab onto the thing and twist or pull or whatever, to wind it up. So we'll figure that out later, how that's going to work. But yeah, so it's not, obviously not too complex what it comes with. This unit here, I believe, was right around 115 or so. I mean, obviously with tax, you're looking at about 120 something dollars, but it is a big unit. So we'll see how it fits. I think my the space was like 126 inches between one side of the wall and the other side of the wall. So this is 120. So you figure there'll be like a 3-inch gap if I do it correctly, approximately where it's going to go. So we'll figure out how that's going to work. But yep, so we'll see in a little bit. After I stop making some marks and stuff, I'll record that as well, and the whole process of hanging the unit. So talk to you in a little bit. Okay, so I took one of the little hanger holders, the clutch one, and since this one here I want on the inside, this is the big area here, and I apologize because it's filthy back here right now due to the wind and all this pollen and everything else we got going on. But I tried to clean it off as much as I could with the hose, but I made more of a mess. So what I did was I just took this little clutch piece, I put it up and figured out approximately about where I wanted it. This is the side here that I want it closer to the house. This will be the side that you put your little rod in and then basically use it to twirl this thing, I guess. So I took I use a permanent marker, it doesn't really matter, any type of marker you want. And then I made 2 marks, one on the bottom as you can see there, and then one at the top. It's pretty level right there. I just kind of eyeballed it. When you put the mark in the middle so you have room to adjust it later on. If you're a little bit off or whatever, you can kind of finesse it. But now I'll have the process of drilling those 2 marks there, which is center block with I got a center block, well, it's not a center block, but a cement drill bit, and I will actually drill through those 2 holes, which is 3/16 it says on the instructions. So I'll take a 3/16 drill bit, which I already got mounted up on there, 3/16. This is a cement drill bit. Let's see if I can hone in on it. And I'll take that 3/16 cement drill bit and I will start drilling those 2 there. So what I'm going to do is spin this camera around and see if I can get basically around where I'm going to be drilling. And I'll speed this up so basically you won't have to, because this is going to be a tedious process. But I got my lattice set up there and I am going to start drilling this thing. So while I'm doing that, bear with me, and I'll definitely speed up this process because it is going to take a little bit to do. It goes through the stucco real quickly, but when you actually hit the center block, which is behind so many, probably millimeters of the stucco, then you actually got to apply some pressure to get it. Alright, so I guess I was wrong in that spot because once you get by the stucco, I actually have, I've seen wood chips coming out. So they must have used like a wood beam. It's so tough when you do these things, figure out actually what's behind there. But there is wood behind it, so I'm still going to use the wall anchor either way. It's the best way to do it. So this thing here, it's kind of a good idea anyways to go through the stucco with. It's a 3/16. So I'm going to take my, which I got here, the wall anchors. And I'm going to tap these wall anchors in now, and then we'll get the first one, this piece here. We're going to get this secured up, and then I can measure where I want to place the second one, the other side of it, once I get this up. So this is what I'm going to do next. With the wall anchor going in first, I'm going to put the 2 wall anchors in. And since I didn't bring a hammer out, I think I can use the back of the drill. Alright, so they're not going in all the way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a needle nose pliers. I'm going to yank these little wall anchors out before I flare them out with the screw, just so, because I want them to be flush. They're actually sticking out maybe about 1/4 of an inch right now out of the wall. You want your wall anchor to fit flush with whatever you're screwing into. So I'm going to go get pliers, pull those wall anchors back out, and then re-drill a little bit deeper in so I can get the wall anchors in. Okay, back with the needle nose pliers. And normally you'd want to have this stuff all ready. So by watching this video, you can see kind of what you run into for little issues. They come right out with the needle nose. I got my wall anchors back out. And we will we'll go in further with the drill bit. And you can always kind of measure what you got going on there so you can kind of see. And if you really want to, you can take your little marker and just use the wall anchor and get like a, it's like a generic way of doing it, but just so you have a general idea. And sometimes you might even have to go past this mark depending on how your wall anchor is actually seating inside the wall, but this will give you a general idea of how far you want to go. Now insert the wall anchors again. If you're not too hard putting them in, you can kind of save them. This one here, a little bit messed up on the tip, but it doesn't matter because the screw is going to bite deeper in. You insert it. Now I'm going to take the clutch side and I'm going to mount it in these two holes here with the screws they provided. Mount it up next, so I'm gonna if you buy drills, the quick connects, unless you got multiple drills, quick connects are nice, but these little twisty style tips ain't too bad either. Still gonna get the job done. Okay, didn't compensate for, with that clutch side actually giving me minimal space to work with. This little shorty bit is not going to work, so I'm going to have to get something to extend the bit out, or an extension bit. So once again, I'm going to go take a walk and go get the extender bit. Okay, I am back and I have my screwdriver and an extender bit, just in case the extender bit doesn't work. I got a Phillips screwdriver as well. This is why I laugh a lot of times when they say 20 minutes, because you really got to have your ducks in a row when it comes to doing this stuff, because there's always something that bites you in the butt. So okay, so you can see that I left it loose enough. See how the screws are in the middle. So when I finally adjust everything, I'll have some movement here to play with when you center them like that. But yeah, that side's mounted. I can still move it if I really want to. I didn't put it super tight because I say, you know, tighten up at the very end, which makes sense. So that one's up for now. Now I will take measurements and try to get the other side up. Okay, so this measuring portion really helps if you have two people. If you don't have two people, you just gotta make do and you figure it out. So what I just did was I took a measurement with a my tape measure, which is, you know, thick enough where I can run from one end. I did it from the back side and I came over, and I think after I calculated out the width of the actual pulley itself, I deducted or added an inch to my overall length, because I went into the garage. I measured basically from one point to where it's got to fit in, where that little peg's got to fit in to the other side. So it was around 122, actually it was like 121 and a quarter. So 121 and a quarter was like the overall, you know, flushness of the inside to inside of the rod. And that's basically what I got to come up with for a dimension. Now, I'm sure it says in the instructions, which I didn't even get there. I was just kind of like trying to figure it out by doing it this way. Plus, like I said, when you center out your screw inside the slots, you'll have room to go either way. If you're slightly off, you don't want to be too far off, which I'm not going to be that far off from what I'm doing anyway, so I'll have enough play to move it around. So what I'm going to do now is try to level this side, the side I just put up, with the side that's already up. So when I go and install the other side to this unit, which I'm going to hang the shade from, I'm going to use this laser level, which once again, a lot of people probably don't have this. That's why it's easier, you know, when you got two people. But this is actually good to have anyways, because you can see how level you are. But since it's not sheetrock, this is made to, like, you know, it has like a little pin portion. You stick it in the sheetrock, you hang it up, and then basically you can shoot your or make your marks with it that way. This one here, I'm just going to have to hold it in one hand and make a mark with the other hand with my little marker. So, I know the outside weather is going to kind of shine probably too much light in, which is going to make the section that I'm doing dark, but I don't know if I can lighten that up at all. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so right now I'm going to go up there and I'm going to see what I can do with this. This makes it 100% easier. Still a crude way of doing it. There's probably different ideas you can do, but this thing here, a little laser level, and I can't think this thing was that much either. I mean, I've had it for a long time. The batteries stay good long if you don't use it all that much, so I don't know if I've ever changed the batteries in it. But anywho, now I'm going to start drilling the holes for this guy here. I just made my marks, once again centered the mark in the piece. Each one is going to fit in the center, and then later on when I go to hang the thing, I'm going to put this just snug enough so I can move it around just a hair here or there and basically get the thing hung up. Once I know it fits in good, then I'll probably take it back down again and then snug up on the bolts, not bolts but screws on this thing. So alright, gonna start drilling this out. So you already seen the first part of the drilling. It's going to be the same thing. I know I scooted, like I fast forwarded through the drilling portion, so I'll just pick up when actually get the two things mounted. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, so this side is up now. Zoom in. You see they're in the center, pretty much in the center. And this side, that side's up, and once again I got them to the point where they're not super snug, so I can jigger them around. This one over here is a lot looser. I left that one really loose because I'm not sure how this thing's gonna fit up yet, but we will see shortly here. So I'm gonna go back in the garage now, grab it, and see how good it did. Alright, be back in a minute. Alright, so hopefully you can see it, but it's up. Hey, it worked. And it wasn't actually too bad. That 20 minutes, if you had all your tools prepared, and you exactly kind of knew what to do, and you'd be fine with it. But it's up. I didn't put the little bungee tie-down holders down on the bottom yet. That's going to be something else, but as you can see, this is a pretty big span. I'm like standing in front of it now to emphasize, you know, how big this friggin' window is. But yeah, it's got the little crank here, which turn it. And I'm definitely going to have to see how windy it is today, so this thing is actually blowing. So I will need to put those bungee tie downs lower here, so this thing doesn't do what it's doing right now. This is actually a bad day to do this because we have like 25-mile-an-hour winds going around. So. But this is coronavirus lockdown, so I'm bored, and I wanted this done for a long time. I just haven't had the time to do it. And hopefully this keeps. I know they'll still bark on the other side, but at least now it won't feel like I'm right on top of these people on the side of me. And this thing will go down super low. I'll just have to figure out exactly where I want it, but it's blowing right now, and I know it's going to start taking down stuff. I've got like little figurines here. Try not to get stuff broken. Yeah, that's it, basically. Very easy to do, and they'll give you some privacy anyways. There's powered ones that you can buy for almost $300. I guess you'll have a button to lift it to go up and down, but we ain't going to be using it to go up and down all that often. It's probably going to stay down more than it's up, honestly. So, cool. Hey guys, real quickly on closing up the Sunshade project, I ended up putting the little bungee holders on, which made a huge difference. So without those bungee holders, that thing blows all over the place, which I'll show you in a minute. But as you can see, super sunny out right now. Camera around, come into the back enclosure, and you notice nice and shady. So yeah, no more sun blaring at me while I'm doing my little grilling over here. And it gives me a little bit of, I don't know, division between, you know, what I'm doing back here and what the neighbors are doing in their yard. So I kind of like that, a little bit more privacy, because with just a screen there, you don't really get any privacy. This here is the little bungee holder. It wraps around this bar that's on here, or you got a little clip. I didn't use this little metal clip, but I think I could have used that too. I'd wrapped it actually around the bar itself, and then this is the bungee with the little ball on there, and the little ball locks into that like so, and it stops this thing from blowing all over the place. So that there and the other side made a huge difference. Even yesterday when I completed it, it was like pretty windy yesterday. As you were seeing, it was around 25 to 35 mile an hour gusts blowing through. And without those on there, this thing was rocking and rolling. I actually had to, you know, crank it back up in order to complete the project, because it was flopping around all over the place. The material is very thick on this thing, and condense, if you want to say condense or whatever, for the air to flow through, so it catches the air like a sail. So you definitely need something securing the bottom of this thing when you put them up. But that is a completed project. I'm happy with it. I gotta move on to some other projects now, but I just wanted to finish this off showing you that, so you didn't think that I left them things off, or you can leave them off, because you really can't leave them off, especially if you're gonna have any type of breeze coming through the area. You want to have those bungee holders on. So alright guys, until the next project, I will see you. Be safe.